Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about the work in progress balance changes for August that they released pretty early actually. And this is a really big change because 20 cards are getting nerfed or getting balanced. So let's take a look at those and I'll say my thoughts and stuff like that. So look at all these cards. We have a lot to get through. Let's start with the Dagger Duchess. Oh, by the way, all tower troops are getting like nerfs / reworks except for Princess Tower. So Dagger Duchess is getting a nerf, which it's the first thing on the list, and it just like breaks my heart because this is like the tower troop I use. If you guys know the bridge spam tech with the pump that I use, has a Dagger Duchess, so it's getting a hit speed nerf of 10%. So this is a small nerf. It's only gonna go from 0.45 seconds to 1 to 0.5 to 0.5 seconds. Let me just put on do not disturb. This is really sad and it might seem small, but I think it will definitely fuck up some interactions. Like, I'm definitely gonna notice it because I use this tower troop. Like, I have a feeling it's not gonna be able to fully kill a skeleton barrel anymore because Dagger Duchess like perfectly just like kills a skeleton barrel like right on time. And I feel like it's not going to be able to do that anymore, and it's going to make me like overspend on a skeleton barrel because usually I would just use heal spirit. Anyways, Royal Chef is getting a nerf, so the cook frequency is getting nerfed by 8% and 9%, I guess. I think this is a good nerf because there's too many toxic decks with this tower troop. I'm sick of the P.E.K.K.A. Goblin Giant. It's actually disgusting and toxic. And even Sparky uses Chef, so I'm happy about that because Sparky hard counters me, so I'm very happy about the Chef nerf. I think it's just a toxic tower troop. Not even just that it counters me, I just think it's toxic for the game, so good job. Spear Goblins are getting nerfed. They're getting a first hit time nerf of 50%. I'm so happy about this because I've been saying Spear Goblins need a first hit time nerf for so long because they always just like manage to get a hit on your tower. Like, they're low-key hard to react to. Like, they always like get that first hit on your tower. So obviously this affects all spear goblins. So spear goblins, goblin giant spear goblins, goblin nut spear goblins, goblin gang spear goblins. Great nerf, love it. Miner's getting a nerf. I actually really wanted Miner to get a nerf. I think it's such a strong card. So it's getting a hit speed nerf of 8%. I love this nerf because Miner, yeah, it's just such a strong card and everyone uses it like it's one of those cards that everyone uses on top ladder because it's just such a strong win condition. And it just like is guaranteed damage, chip damage the whole game. So you might as well nerf it, right? It's just like too strong of a card. Evo Skeleton Barrel nerf. I saw this coming because this Evo is actually really strong. So I definitely saw this coming. So the death damage is getting decreased by 5%. This might be too small of a nerf in my opinion. I think they could have went more for like 8, 9, 10%, but I'll take it, whatever. So the death damage is just gonna be way less. Well, not way less, but a little bit less. And I think this is a good nerf because I think that's like the strongest thing about the Evo is the death damage, you know? Like, the skeletons are somewhat easy to counter, but the death damage is just like, if you don't have a building, you're fucked. Okay, next we have the buffs. So those are it for the nerfs. I think they're definitely missing a few cards, but I'll get into that later. Spirit Empress is getting a buff. So the air form of the card is getting an HP buff of 5%. So this is when she's on the dragon. That form of the Spirit Empress is getting an HP buff. I guess the buffs they gave her weren't enough and they wanted to buff her more. I don't know. I think this is an okay nerf because she's not like broken or anything. So I think giving her HP buff maybe was not too bad of an idea. I don't know though. Phoenix is getting a buff. So the death damage to crown towers is getting removed, which means when he dies near the tower and he does that little pop explosion, it's not gonna damage the crown tower, it's only gonna damage your troops. I don't really care about that too much, but okay. The hit speed is getting an 11% buff, so it's gonna hit faster, and the death damage to towers is getting oh yeah, it's just not gonna do death damage to towers. So yeah, that's basically what it is. I think this is an okay buff because Phoenix is like realistically only used in like E-Giant, I feel like. So this will probably help it out a bit. Zappies, my baby Zappies are getting buffed. They're getting a first hit time buff of 27%. So they're gonna hit, their first hit time is gonna be a lot faster because sometimes when you place the Zappies, they take they take a little minute for them to actually hit what they're gonna hit. So this is a good buff in my opinion. Zappies are like definitely one of the worst cards in the game. The only bad thing I could see about this is like more recruits, but like Zappies like needed a buff, bro. They actually did. Golem's getting buffed, guys. It's the Golemite damage though. So the Golemites, the little two golems, they're gonna be doing 113% more damage, which is crazy. I think it's an okay buff. I just don't like Golem getting a buff because it counters my deck. But like, I think Golem definitely needed a buff because it's one of the worst win conditions in the game. I don't want it to get buffed, but if I'm like being unbiased, it probably deserved a buff. I feel like that's a big number though. It's going from 48 to 102 hit points. Like, that's a lot. So I don't know how I feel about this, but hopefully it isn't too bad because it's just the Golemites. It's not like the actual Golem, right? So next we have so now we're doing reworks. There's a lot of reworks. So Firecracker's getting a rework. Her sight range is getting decreased by 6%, but her recoil is getting decreased by 33%. So sight range is like how far she could see troops. So sometimes when she's crossing the bridge, she doesn't actually cross the bridge. She stays on the side of the map and then she just starts shooting at some troop on the other side. So that's gonna be fixed because she could just see everything on the map sometimes. I feel like she could just see everything. And then her recoil is getting decreased by 33%, which means she's not gonna get knocked back so much after she shoots her fucking firecracker. So every time she shoots at a troop, she's not gonna move back like 30 fucking miles and then like she's gonna be impossible to kill because she just keeps moving back. So she's only gonna move back 1 tile instead of 1.5 tiles, basically. Evo Snowball's getting a rework, so the speed's gonna be decreased, I don't know, by 33%. Which means it's not gonna be on the map for as long, so you're not gonna, so basically it's just easier. For example, if they snowball the drill, Evo snowball the drill, it's gonna be easier to counter now because since the snowball moves faster on the map, you have more time to like place your troops down because the snowball's already off the map, whereas if the snowball's on the map for a long time, you have to wait until it leaves for you to put your drill counters, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. I don't know. Minions are getting a rework, so I thought this would affect the minion horde as well. I think this affects the minion horde. I don't know why they didn't specify, but the minions are going from fast to very fast, so which means you're getting a 33% speed buff. I think this is an amazing buff because minions and minion horde are one of the worst cards. They definitely needed this buff. I think this could be a really good buff for the minions. I don't know why they didn't include minion horde here, but I'm like 90% sure it affects minion horde as well. Rage rework. So Lumberjack gets the rage damage buff, but not the duration nerf. So the damage is getting increased by 21%, so it's gonna do more damage, but it's not gonna last as long. It's only gonna last like 4.5 seconds instead of 5.5 seconds, so that's a whole second less. So I think this could be a good nerf because sometimes rage just lasts too long, you know what I mean? The damage is not really what's so good about it. It's like the duration, I guess. So I'm pretty sure it's still gonna kill everything it already kills and all that stuff. Like, yeah. But I guess the Lumberjack doesn't get the duration nerf. He only gets the buff, which is kind of a buff to the Lumberjack, actually, if you think about it, because he doesn't get the nerf part of the rage rework. Here's a Cannoneer rework. I think it's a nerf, but the hit speed's getting increased by 14%, so it's gonna shoot a little quicker, but the damage is getting decreased by 17%, so it's gonna do way less damage, which is interesting because the whole point of Cannoneer is that it does like a lot of damage. Evo Witch is getting a rework. Finally, the Clash Royale community, the Clash Royale dev team has listened to the community, and now Witch is only going to heal from her own skeletons. We've been saying this since she got released in the game, that we only wanted to heal from her own skeletons. They finally listened, because no matter how many times they nerfed her heal per skeletons, she would just always be broken as fuck. So she can only heal from her own skeletons. However, they're reverting some of her heal per skeleton nerfs that they did. So she's getting an 18% buff for her heal per skeleton, because they gave her like 2 nerfs for heal per skeleton, if that makes sense. So I think this is finally like the nerf we needed about for the Evo Witch. So Evo Dark Goblin's getting a rework, not a nerf, but a rework. So for the Evo Dark Goblin, the poison duration is getting decreased by 75%. This is a really, really big nerf. It's not going to, after the Dark Goblin dies, it's not going to stay on the board for 4 seconds. It's actually going to stay for 1 second now, which is like a really big nerf, which I'm really happy about. But Dark Goblin is getting a little rework. So the regular Dark Goblin hit speed is getting decreased by 13%. It's going to hit slower. Interesting. But the damage is getting increased by 11%. I kind of like this nerf, to be honest. I think it's a good overall nerf, especially for the Evo Dark Goblin. Evo Archers are getting a rework. So the Evo Archers are getting nerfed, but the regular Archers are getting a buff. So the Evo Archers, their power shot is getting decreased by 22%. Their power shot damage. And their power shot min range is getting increased by 11%. Which is a nerf, because their range is getting decreased. So they're not going to be able to shoot from as far. They have to be a little closer. So the Evo Archers are getting a nerf, and then the regular Archers are getting a buff. They're getting a 5% damage buff. So I think this is a good overall nerf to the Evo Archers, because Archers suck, right? But the Evo is good. So I feel like this is a good way to balance it. Just buff the regular, nerf the Evo. Duh. Goblin Hut's getting a rework, so the spawn delay is getting decreased by 50%, which is a buff. They're gonna spawn. Wait, spawn frequency, spawn delay. What's the difference? Let me think. Spawn delay is the time between. Here's a part of the video where I have my slow moment, because I don't understand a balance change, because I don't like pre-read these. I'm just like doing it as I go. Spawn delay is, I guess, how far in between each goblin spawns, and then spawn frequency is how often the goblin spawns, or something like that. I feel like that makes sense. How often in between each goblin, that's like the delay. And then how often each goblin comes. Okay, fuck that. Nah, if you guys like are interested in this, go check out someone else's video, because they probably can explain it way better than me. Okay, so that's it for the changes. My thoughts, I think these are really, really, really good balance changes, except for Dagger Duchess. Don't like that. So yeah, shout out to the team. I think these changes are good. I love so many different cards that they added in this. I think they're missing a few, like Fireball and stuff like that, but it's okay. I think they did a decent job. Now let's quickly see what the community thinks about these. Okay, so I'm on the Twitter. Amazing balance changes. Y Golem nerf. Such good changes. So overall positive. Nerf minor and no nerf to Broken Mega Knight. I mean, he has a point. Which buff? It's not really a buff. It's because they nerfed it so many times. So they're just like reverting it, so then they could do the only, like, so she only heals from her skeletons. Finally, good balance changes. Annoying Firecracker. Yep, they finally addressed that. Let's see. They're not killing Snowball. I feel like that's a stretch. P.E.K.K.A and Goblin untouched. That's what I was thinking, but I'm like, is it really the P.E.K.K.A or the Goblin Giant, or was it just the Chef Tower Troop? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it was just the Chef. But I don't know. Maybe P.E.K.K.A and Goblin Giant is strong. Okay. Why Firecracker nerf? Well, why not Firecracker nerf? That shit's so broken. I mean, you know, I'm very happy about these changes. You guys are funny as fuck. You guys are funny. Okay, well, I think that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Yeah.